Burkhart, Firemedic, class of 1999. I've been here a little bit, more than some, less than others. So when we lived in Wichita, when I was a candy salesman traveling western Kansas, decided I needed to do something else and wasn't sure what that was. And you know, Michelle and I talked about a lot of different things, and we would drive by a Sedgwick County fire station after Mass on Sundays, and finally I went in there and talked to those guys, and they were really nice, really candid about stuff, very helpful, and thought, man, this might be kind of cool, because I liked being physical and you know, the helping people. Yeah, we all try to help people, and that was a no-brainer with this. But I liked the thought of being physical and getting dirty and sweaty and you know, that kind of thing. And this job was really, so it ended up being pretty cool. I actually met with Chief Myers when we moved back up to Kansas City, and he was really helpful. And I said, look, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I got a college degree. And he goes, well, what's that in? And I said, well, it's in psychology, because I didn't have to have a lot of math. And he's like, oh, that's perfect. You know, we got to deal with people all the time. That's perfect. So he was actually also kind of instrumental in getting me going with, well, here's what you can do. You know, you need to get your EMT, you need to get your firefighter 1, you need to go through and do some of these classes at JUCO. And I was like, okay, and kind of took off from there. So yeah, I kind of owe a little bit of it to him. But my career took a different turn to start with. And it started down the EMS side, you know, because I worked at Medevac in KCK, and then MAST, and then was able to, MAST was nice enough to give me the scholarship to go to paramedic school. And so I would try out for these spots on fire departments, but back then they had 300 people that would show up for 5 positions. And, you know, I'd get to number 7 on the list, and they'd say, you know, thanks, you did great, but we're hiring these guys. All right. And went to MAST and said, hey, Medac will hire me for $10,000 more than you guys will, and I get to be in a station. Yeah, we know, okay. So I ended up paying back most of that money, and started with Medac then, and then eventually was stationed at Station 4. I was there with Brian Idle, and had a blast with him. But what was really eye-opening was having so much fun with the fire guys that were at the station. You know, and Matt Young was so funny. He would pull me aside and say, look at this paycheck. I mean, fire relief money. They're giving me free money here. This is great. You really need to think about coming over here. And then it got to the point where, you know, hey, I think we might be hiring firefighter paramedics pretty soon. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, that's interesting. It's kind of why I got in this business in the first place. Chief Myers would come by the station, you know, and he would talk to us and answer questions from my perspective, you know, as a medic, and how this is going to look and what we're going to do. And so anyway, so it was an easy transition, you know. Once they started doing that, I was like, man, I'm gonna go over here. This looks pretty neat. Coming in that time was a lot of fun. There was a unique tightness with everybody, I think. and particularly with even the older guys that started before me. I mean, they were all pretty close. The stories I heard, you know, from some of the people I worked with were crazy. Guys having bottle rocket wars in the bunk rooms and stuff. I mean, things that were you just just can't do that stuff anymore. You can't do that now. It's really kind of neat because it's open. As a guy who's about, you know, I'm retiring, but it's been neat to see the entire gamut of stuff now that Overland Park has done since I started, certainly, and it's pretty cool. I got to tell you what, I really enjoyed working at Station 6, man. That was a lot of fun, and I didn't know at first. I was like, man, I can't believe we're doing this, but looking back now, I wish we'd have done it sooner. That is a great station to work at. Those guys up there were great. I learned a lot actually from Kenny and Matt Tidd and some of those guys. They were a lot of fun to work with. And then to absorb also now South County, it's like, wow. First of all, it's just mind-blowing. I'm driving around with my kids sometimes and I'm like, man, I remember when I was your age, there was nothing here. There was nothing past 119th, you know, and now we're clear out south, and I am really happy to be there right now. Micah is awesome, Zach and Coach Aver, those are great guys to work with. But the things they have to think about are way different than the things that we have to think about in the north, you know, the northern stations, or at least north of them. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat where it's headed. Nowadays, it's pretty easy to hop over and move and go to different places, and you know, being able to say I stayed at one place for 25, 26 years is pretty cool. As I'm ready to leave now, I hope that I've been a decent mentor to at least a handful of folks. So I would definitely say that would be something I'd be proud of. I hope that generally I hope I was easy to work with. The days you come in and you're not having a good day, you've got some personal issues, you've got struggles at home, you've got stuff going on that's stressful, that's whatever it is, to be able to come in and be with your guys and vent or get an opinion on something or want a different perspective or help me with this. Man, that's been really huge, I think. Having been here for 25 years now, I think that's a big deal because we all have stuff, man, and that we got to deal with and that we got to get through but the people that you're around, you know, at this place are hugely helpful. I've found them to be anyway. If you've got a weakness, help guys show you how to get through it and do better at it, you know. If you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask. You need to be kind of on your game and spot on with a lot of stuff a lot of times. So if you're struggling, get help, find it, because it's there, you know. And that's, I think, where good officers come in and lean on them, and as well as just shift mates, you know. I think it's good to go home and give our wives a hug and thank them, and our husbands a hug, and just tell them how much we appreciate them I think that might be a thing that folks, it's easy to just kind of forget about stuff like that because you get so wrapped up in just the daily grind of meeting bills and just doing stuff here at the station, training, just the non-stop stuff that people have in their lives. Make sure you make time for your spouse because they need it and we need them. They're hugely helpful.
Thanksgiving Turkey Hotline. We help you give others the bird. How may I help you?
I don't remember a ton about that. This was safety around Thanksgiving, wasn't it?
And you're wondering how many kids can safely be in the kitchen while you're cooking?
Yeah, I was really disappointed that the administration didn't want to get that out there.
We recommend that you have no more than 0 kids in the kitchen, and of that 0, none should be around a hot stove.
I think there were some good points made in the through the turkey hotline.
Do you see what I did there?
Maybe you can try this new administration. So what you're saying is I have actually been on a fire. There's a weird thing going out there that I miss all fires. I don't know where that came from. Supposedly there's this big fire that happened in Three's area, I think. Was it Three's area? I think it was the biggest fire in the world, probably since the Chicago fire that happened back in the, when did that happen, 1800s? I was on the ambulance that day saving lives. That was a little frustrating. I might have to talk to somebody about that still.